Hey, my Liptons. So this is gonna be a little pivot because I know a good amount of my subscribers aren't really, wrestling fans or anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe this video might reach somebody who's in the wrestling community, who watches this sort of thing. So, and as you know, because I did a video about Sting and The Undertaker and that sort of thing, and my feelings about that, and how I felt like WWE dropped the ball in making that a match when Sting finally came to the WWE. And I got some good views on that video. So I decided I wanted to make another wrestling video, but it had to be something that I was really interested in talking about. So recently I was watching Sportskeeda Wrestling on YouTube. And I usually watch it on Mondays because I think that those are the days where the Legion of Raw, that's like the Monday Night Raw reviews come on, and that's where Chris Featherstein, I think that's his name, and Vince Russo comes on there and give the commentary on Monday Night Raw that particular day. So, and I've been watching things from the sidelines, just watching things for the past couple of years on the commentary on Vince Russo, and I have to be honest, a good amount of the wrestling community, I would say, does not like Vince Russo. They do not like him. They feel like he's a parasite to the wrestling. He was a parasite to the wrestling business, that sort of thing. And I wanted to know why. I feel like at the end of the day, if you have an issue with somebody, or if you feel like this person was bad for business and that sort of thing, I usually want to know why. I want to get the details, the evidence, the facts about the person, what was going on with that situation. So what it seems like to me, personally, from what I've seen, and especially his Vince Russo's main detractors, most particularly Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette does not like Vince Russo at all. He does not like him. I actually think he hates him, to be honest. And Eric Bischoff is another one that does not like Vince Russo. I believe there's a few other people that don't like him, but those are the two that actually come to mind right now. So it seems like those two don't like him. So I think Jim Cornette, I feel like Eric Bischoff had an issue, and I haven't seen all the commentary that Eric Bischoff had on Vince Russo, but I think he had an issue with Vince Russo's writing when Vince Russo came to WCW, because especially during that time when Vince Russo left WWF in 1999, he went to WCW. You could say during that time WCW wasn't doing so well, and even after that it was just going downhill. And Jim Cornette, it seems like he's been had an issue with Vince Russo since Vince Russo was in the WWF, because of Vince McMahon, the CEO of the WWE. It was called F back then, WWF, but it's called WWE now. But Vince McMahon made Vince Russo the head writer for the WWF at the time, and I think Jim Cornette kind of felt some type of way. I'm not sure, and he felt a type of way about Vince Russo's writing and how he put certain wrestlers in certain positions, or their storylines and that sort of thing, and the matches. Because I will say this, Jim Cornette seems like a more wrestling based, he wants more of the wrestling than the entertainment, whereas Vince Russo is more entertainment than he is the wrestling, if that makes sense, So I have to say this, right? I honestly do not understand the hate, the backlash, and that Vince Russo gets. And I have to be honest, I honestly don't understand it. Now, is there certain criticisms that we should give Vince Russo? Absolutely. I think the Brawl for All was stupid as hell. I think, obviously, the unfortunate situation with them putting Owen Hart what was it called? Like a zip line or fly from the roof, which unfortunately caused his death. But here's my issue with that. And I know people like to, blame Vince Russo for that. I think we have to remember, Vince Russo was a writer at that time. He was a writer. He had to go get that approved by Vince McMahon. So my thing is, we obviously can criticize Vince Russo for like even suggesting it, but the one that put the stamp on it and said yes, let's go with that, is Vince McMahon. And I personally don't feel like there's a lot of energy and smoke that people have for Vince McMahon for even approving that thing when it came to Owen Hart. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just feel like even that is I will say this. I personally don't think that the WWE at that time meant to like cause that accident. I honestly don't. Like, I don't think that Vince McMahon or Vince whatever woke up one day and be like, hey, like, let's cause months of bad press by, murdering one of our wrestlers. So I don't know. I just feel like that's just wrong. But I will say the way they handled it afterwards, especially Vince McMahon, and the way he treated Martha Hart was completely disgusting. Completely disgusting. And, Vince McMahon, I don't know. I feel like this is, especially now what's been going on with Vince McMahon, I feel like this is his karma, low-key. Like, not low-key, high-key, as a matter of fact. I feel like this is his karma, and he's really, everything is coming back to bite. So we'll see how that goes with his whole case and everything that's going on with him. So, yeah, like, Vince Russo definitely has some, stupid ideas, but are we gonna really be, like, oblivious to the fact that Vince Russo contributed to the success of the Attitude Era as well? Because let's be very clear, WWF was trash for a while in the especially in like early 90s, especially after Hogan and all those people left, where it was just, and there's no shade, I love him to death, but like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Kevin Nash, they weren't really, there were stars in those days, but were they really drawing like that, like as champions? Because I know they said that Kevin Nash was he didn't really draw as a champion. And I also know Bret Hart didn't draw as a champion either. And I feel like people don't want to have those conversations, but like if you look at the numbers, those are the facts. So we had stars, but we didn't have like the mega stars. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like when Vince Russo came into, and he was like what was he doing? Like he was in the bookstores or something, writing comics or something like that. And then him and Vince McMahon had a conversation, and then Vince McMahon made him the head writer, him and Ed Ferrara or something. So there was obviously a trust there, right? And I feel like when Vince Russo started writing for WWE around whatever, 96, 97, 98, 99, like that was when the WWF was at its hottest. Like the Attitude Era was everything, okay? Like Stone Cold Steve Austin was like, and this is why Stone Cold Steve Austin is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Like I love him to death. Like I don't even think he is my favorite wrestler of all time. This man was amazing. And not to, give all of Stone Cold Steve Austin's success to Vince Russo. I'm not saying that. Absolutely not. But, like, as far as the storylines he was placed in, Vince Russo was definitely writing for that. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin is my favorite wrestler of all time. He was the hottest wrestler of all. Like, he was just so amazing. Everybody could relate to him. The Rock was amazing. He was funny. He was just so great. Triple H, even the mid-card wrestlers, like, the New Age Outlaws, DX, I know I'm missing some more people. I'm so sorry. But even the Corporate Ministry, Undertaker was one of the biggest stars. Just that whole thing was just such great television. And I think Vince Russo is more, and he said it before, Vince Russo is more of a casual fan than he tries to he writes for the casual fans, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, he's more entertainment based. Like, he's like, listen, don't make the wrestling matches freaking 10 to 20 to 30 minutes, because it's like, listen, at the end of the day, if people are just going there to fight without having a reason to fight, that turns a lot of the viewers off. So it's like, you got to give them a story, give them an entertainment story, give them an interesting story as to what led to this fight, and keep it short. Like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I have to be honest. I don't want to be sitting at the TV watching a 30-minute fight. Like, if I want to do that, I might as well go watch UFC or a boxing match or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's just Vince Russo's plight and what he believes in. And he feels like, you know, wrestling has just fallen so far. Because let's be honest, wrestling is not hot right now. And I mean that for WWE. And, well, personally, I don't even put AEW next to WWE, because I feel like AEW is not really at that stage yet. Personally, I've heard about it, but I never really got invested in it. So I just feel like WWE is not really, I feel like WWE's now is like they're only marketing and only doing the product for their niche audience. They're not really expanding and really bringing in the casual audience like they did back in the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression era, right? So I just feel like Vince Russo contributed to the success of that. Now, if you want to talk about his time in WCW, okay, you can definitely criticize the writing and that sort of thing that happened in WCW, you know, and say that it was trash, it was bad. But, and it's like I said before, he is the writer, but it has to be approved by the higher ups. You know, they're the ones that have to look at it and say, okay, well, this is a good idea. No, this is a bad idea. This is a good idea. This is a bad idea. So I don't know. I blame Vince Russo for the stupid writing, but I also, it's like, okay, but you got like Eric Bischoff, Ted Turner, whoever was there at that time, y'all approved it and y'all allowed him to go with it. So, and y'all didn't filter out some of the stuff that was unnecessary and put in the stuff that was good. So, and then, and mind you, if he was such a bad, you know, writer or that sort of thing, why did he get hired for TNA in those first few years? You know what I'm saying? And TNA was doing good in the beginning. I think people forget about that. TNA was good until, unfortunately, Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan came into the picture. And then that's when the company started going downhill. You know? So, Vince Russo and TNA in those early years, TNA was great. It was great. So, if you look at the resume, right, of Vince Russo, if you look at the pros and cons of Vince Russo, I feel like the pros outweigh the cons, and I have to keep it a bean. Like, I have to be honest. It outweighs the cons. I just think that, you know, people, you know, the Jim Cornettes of the world, the Eric Bischoffs of the world, they don't really want to give Vince Russo his credit for his successes and just want to always beat him down for like the failures that he has had, right? And mind you, everybody has had those days, like Eric Bischoff included, you know, Jim Cornette included, Vince McMahon included. Like, these people have had their bad writings, their bad stories. Oh my God, WWE, especially after Vince Russo, WWE has had some bad storylines. Especially, we don't even want to talk about how WWE is now, but WWE has had some terrible, terrible storylines, you know, especially in the Ruthless Aggression era. I liked it. I definitely did. But there were some very cringy storylines, like the whole HLA stuff, and then you had Triple H with the Katie Vick thing, which was just disgusting. You know, it was a lot of things. But then there were a lot of great things too that came out of the Ruthless Aggression era. The Ruthless Aggression era, I would say, was one of the best times to be a wrestling fan too. So, but yeah, like, everybody has those kind of days. So I just feel like people don't really want to give the props. Don't want to give Vince Russo his props because it's trendy, or it's what's cool to hate Vince Russo. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. For me personally, I'm gonna give Vince Russo his props. He gave us some good entertaining storylines. He gave us some good characters. I give him his props, and I have to keep it honest. So, and plus he's on Sports Keto Wrestling, which, you know, I recommend people to go watch that. And I actually think Vince Russo is entertaining and funny. Like, he's more funny than I think he actually believes himself to be. So, and plus he says bro like 560 times in an episode. So yeah, I watched that. I watched Legion of Raw with him and Chris Featherstein. So I don't know. I just think that the hate that he gets is unnecessary and whack. So, but tell me what y'all guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys don't? Tell me what y'all guys think. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Give me your thoughts. Share my videos. And do you agree with me? Do you think that Vince Russo is overhated? Do you think that, you know, people don't really give him his props? Or do you guys just don't like him? So, and that's cool too. If you don't like him, that's cool. So, please tell me what y'all guys think. And I'm gonna come back with a video on Normani and Chloe Bailey, because I have some thoughts about them, and I might do that a little bit later. So I'll see you guys later.